Hey guys, it's Amber and welcome to day 5 of my December daily. So I have a fun little project planned. It's going to be fairly easy, to be honest. I feel like I haven't been able to really dive into creative stuff yet. I feel like it's been kind of easy projects, and so I'm dying to get more creative, but so far it hasn't really gotten to those kind of stories, but we're getting there. So I'm telling a story of my cat's advent calendars. They had 2 this year because they're spoiled. So, pardon me, I have the packaging from their food advent calendar. This is Fancy Feast Purina. I actually highly recommend it. It had really good stuff in it. It's kind of large, so I'm definitely going to have to cut it down because the packaging is like 13 1/4 by 10 3/4. So to get it within 11 inches, I'm going to have to probably go closer to the cat here and cut off somewhere over here, or cut off somewhere over here. I'm not sure exactly where yet. So I'm going to have to definitely trim. The cat is kind of a problem because I want to put my number here, so I can't cut too far over. I might have to change my number. So I'm thinking about taking this number 5, and as a number, I might have to put it here. If I was going to put it right here so it kind of tucked into this C, but if I have to trim more carefully, it might end up going up here. And while the yellow is a good color, I think I'm going to try to heat emboss it with Distress Embossing Glaze in Rustic Wilderness. So I pulled out my handy dandy embossing color chart, which I showed you guys the other day, and I was choosing between my Nuvo Pine Needles Green and my Ranger Rustic Wilderness. And when I held them up close, this one felt a little too much of a bright green, and this one seemed right in the right spot. So I'm just hoping that it covers the yellow well. I was debating if I should try to paint it, but we'll see. So I'm hoping that it covers nicely. So that's the number plan. I'm trying to decide if I might put a star or something on there to kind of just add a little interest, and I might put something on top of that as well. So that's my number plan. I'm going big because this is big. So on the back, I have photos of the kitties enjoying these. So that was for the food one. Then this one is a toy one. So the other one was for 24 days. This is for 12 days. I found it at Kohl's. It has some really cute little toys in it, actually. And I saved the band from it. So what I think I'm going to do is create a flip out. So this will be on the back of that one. The holes will be on this side. And I think what I'm going to do is cut this. This will be on a different flip up, basically. And underneath that will be a journaling card that I blew up. So sorry. This is what it will look like in the album. I think I'm gonna cut this so that it's going between the 2 photos vertically, so that I can try to get the ephemera in the album. And then there will be a little tab here, so you can flip this side open. With that added dimension, the flip open will have this photo of Tiger Lily, which is not about advent calendars at all, but it's just so cute. I got her this little fluffy house that she can live in, and I didn't think she'd like it, but she loves it. So we had a little photo shoot when she was going in and out the one day, and so I'm going to use that on the inside. And then I printed out onto Epson Premium Presentation Paper in matte, which is double-sided, a journaling card that was from the 2022 Kids Digital Kit. So I'll try to link that. Normally I like printing on photo paper because things are brighter, but I wanted to be able to write on this. I didn't want to try to journal within these lines. I wanted to try that thing where sometimes you write bigger and smaller based on the spacing. So I will do that. I'll probably do that off camera for sure. And so like I said, this photo will be permanently mounted down. This one will flip up and have that extra photo and the journaling hidden underneath. I'm struggling a little bit with embellishments. It's not that I'm hoarding everything, I just couldn't really find anything that I wanted to use. It was really the problem. I was kind of playing around with like doing some circles, or like I was kind of like going off of the circle here. So I was looking at like some of the die cut circles from the main kit. I was looking at the canvas circles, but it just didn't really feel like it went in that space. But I am thinking about taking one of these clear 6x8 stickers, and I actually thought about putting this Joy one right on the little fuzzy wall there. I also liked it down here in the corner because the white on top of the cream color carpet really pops. I thought about the Let Your Heart Be Light gold on top of it there, but it kind of blocks the whole toy. So I could also do that in the corner. I just gotta kind of see everything once it's put together. So I'm gonna put you on pause, start getting things cropped out. I've got to get this cut out and punched, and then I can start mounting things to the back. So the actual concept is easy, I just have to construct it all. So let's get started. Okay guys, so some of the first things that I did was cut down the advent calendars to more usable sizing. So I trimmed it to the full width, knowing that I had to still pull out my large trimmer. I cut out the majority of me trimming this down. I kind of went left to right and just trimmed it down little by little until I got it into a position that I was comfortable with. And here I was about to trim the bottom of those two photos, and I realized, you know what, I'd prefer to do it once they're mounted to the back of this. That way I don't accidentally trim it too short or something. So, because they're printed on 8.5 paper, and this is all trimmed down to 8 1/4. So they're obviously going to be a little bit taller. So what I am going to do is trim the photo to the right off by itself, and then I'm going to mount this down. I'm just kind of looking to see how everything is sized. So I'm going to use some 1/8 inch double-sided sticky tape from scrapbook.com inside the holes there. It fits perfectly. And then I'm going to use the rest of the tape around the other 3 sides of the photo, because I didn't know how far out to put the tape. And then here I'm taking some copy paper and I'm making a hinge. So it's 2 inches by 8 1/2. I'm just folding it in half lengthwise. I'm just testing to see how that's going to look. And I'm going to add some adhesive to my photo here. So I've got 2 strips on the photo, and I'm going to put the hinge on the photo so that I can make sure that it's lined up like as extremely straight. Normally I would do it the opposite way. Here I just pulled up 1 strip and then the second one and made sure it was like really, really, really straight. Okay guys, got my journaling done. I had to print a new one. The Slick Writer pens just were not working on here. It was really dragging. So I played around with a bunch of different pens. My regular old Big Velocity is what actually rolled the best, but I also wanted to play a little bit with one of my Posca paint pens, so I chose green just for like a really bold pop of color. I also played with Sharpie, but I know that over time that can really go bad, so I kind of figured out some different things I wanted to say, but it was a fun experiment and I'm really happy with how it came out. I don't have amazing handwriting like Allie, so I couldn't really fill it as well as she does, so I just did the best I could and chose a few words to highlight in all caps, painted those over in green, and then I also chose to do the and signs. So just giving this a little bit of time to dry. I might go back over it a little bit. The paint pen actually goes over the pen pretty well. I didn't write that out in marker. I wrote it in pen and then did it in paint pen, which is what I had experimented with on here. These are all covered and it covers it pretty well. So hopefully it stays that way. So I pretty much just need to get that mounted down now. And that will be the inside of my hinge here. And then this photo is not going to get fully cropped until, sorry, it's like a multi-step process here. So this will get mounted onto here with this hinge. And this photo isn't going to get cropped until I get that mounted on there. Actually, it doesn't really need to get cropped at all. It gives it more stability, something to build onto. So I can actually go ahead and get that mounted while I'm waiting a little bit longer for this to dry. It shouldn't take much longer. It's getting close. I just don't want any green paint to get anywhere. And then I was waiting to fully attach this side down until this was complete. Just because I wanted to make sure it was going to be, you know, completely straight. So happy with how that's coming along. It's definitely a little different from what I normally do. Okay guys, so now that I got the journaling part finished, I can finish constructing this. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying it face down on top of the photo of my cat, and then I'm going to release the tape and pull the hinge over the edge of the photo so that I can get a nice clean and crisp fold there. Just trying to do this to avoid anything being crooked, because sometimes it happens that way. So I mounted it down to the left side of the base. I know this part's confusing. I'm releasing all of the tape little by little, so on the top and the bottom, and then on the right. And then, so once the journaling piece is mounted down on the left, then I can release the release tape of the photo on the right so that it kind of lays down on top of the journaling just a little bit. Because the photo paper is slightly thicker, that's just the way I decided to do it, instead of the journaling cards sitting on top of the photo slightly, because they are overlapping a little bit. And then I just added some adhesive to the front flap here, and I'm adhering down that little bit of strip. So really love how that looks. It's so fun, just being able to include little pieces like this. So now I'm grabbing some photo tabs. These are from this year's kit or advent calendar. I can't remember where, but I just know they're from 2023. So I picked the one that said worth it. And then I'm just deciding which of those 6x8 stickers I'm going to go with. And I'm going to ultimately decide to go with the Joy one and put it in the bottom right hand corner. And I do like that as well. So now we're jumping into working on my heat embossing of my wooden 5. This is coated. So I thought it would be a good idea to work with the embossing ink from Ranger, since this is a Ranger embossing powder. It did not adhere well at all to this number 5, but I kind of left this part of the process in for you to see. Same process that I did for day 4 with the wreath. You can see there it's barely coated, and I should have known better. But once the powder's down, you really can't add more Versamark ink. You really need to heat it. But the beauty of heat embossing is you can just go layer after layer after layer. So I switched back to my regular Versamark. I should have just done that one to start with. It's tackier, it's thicker, it was catching more. But the problem here is that this was so bumpy because it didn't get enough powder on it that it affected the rest of the number 5. It still looks really, really cool. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely, if I would have started with that, you can see the coverage is so much better. And then I'm just leaving in some parts, but skipping through a lot of it. I just wanted you to be able to see kind of how I built. I think I did 4 layers to get this color here that I'm going to show you in slow-mo. It's kind of fun, but I pulled it up towards the camera so you could see it. But the top you can see is pretty textured just from, you know, the base layers. There's not much you can do to fix it. Around the edges, there's a little bit of yellow that you can see. But overall, it got to a nice dark green color like I was happy with. And since it's so thick and the cardstock's thick and like a slick material, I decided to use red line tape to adhere that down. And then I'm going to go ahead, I made the decision and add the green foliage star with one of the green chipboards on top. So I'm going to use red line tape to attach all of those as well. So just showing you the process of finishing up the last little bits here. This one overall is really easy. Like I said, it was just the construction and thinking about which part came next, but I'm really happy with how it looks, and I'll show you a live look here in just a second. Okay guys, I am all finished with day 5. I'm really happy with it. I just have like embossing powder everywhere, even though I took a wet paper towel and washed my desk. It just feels like gritty. Anyway, love how this came out. The front is super simple. This honestly would have been fine by itself, but this I had a little trouble. Like there's definitely some holes from the first layers, and then like right here along the edges, I think because I was blowing in that direction, it kept like blowing the powder off. This is the best I could get. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I did want it to be, you know, not to be super noticeable that it was yellow underneath. Put this star under here, so I was happy to start using some of this pattern, and then picked out one of the chipboards from this green set, and I went with Filling My Heart with Joy. A lot of them were very, very Christmassy related, or just didn't really make sense. And then once you flip to the back, I actually really love how this came out as well. It's a little thick with that wood piece and the chipboard on top, so I have some concerns there, but love the little sticker, the little Worth It chipboard. Love that I got more ephemera in here, and then the flip open with the fun journaling and some more photos of my sweet peas. So anyway, I'm really excited to continue moving on, and I will see you soon for day 6. Bye for now.